Yo, what the fuck's up? How's it going? This is episode 19. You should probably figure that out by looking at the title. Yeah, it's just me this time. Just doing a little bit of ranting and praising of One Piece. God bless One Piece. It's just so good. Other manga, video games. A lot of ranting about, a lot of venting about video games. A lot of weird things I've been finding in video games, but good fun nonetheless. Just a little bit, I need a place where I can be like, this is dumb. And then people go, right, dude. Or maybe they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Regardless, I just, it's good fun. Holy fuck, or do I mispronounce a lot of Japanese things in this one? I listened through this one just now, just like, good lord, I am just saying stuff. And it is not right. But you know what? It's what you do when you're fast and loose and you're just talking real fast. I talk real fast, so it's a couple of these points, holy cow. So apologies for that. I'm already starting to talk real fast. It's just, I don't know. I just get excited. I get excited, full energy, or, whatever. Maybe I'm just like, these things, they bother me. It's good. Good time. I enjoyed this one. It was good. Healthy. A healthy little time to just kind of talk about stuff that is just, weird things that I care about. But, I hope it came out good. I enjoyed this one. I just listened to the whole thing again, and I had fun listening to the whole thing. Kept me captivated. But it is also everything I care about, so I might not be the perfect judge, but I think I'm a pretty swell judge. But I also might fillet myself a little hard on the whole, and there's the dog, the whole fucking Persona. I fucking fillet myself real hard with Persona, just like I'm apparently super good at the game, which I'm not going to say I'm not, but like I feel like I came off a little arrogant, so whatever. Apologies if that bothers you, but also, I know. The trophy's hard because I do play it pretty good, so what are you going to do? These things happen. I could probably just play at a hard difficulty. I don't know why I didn't think of that when I was talking, but I could just play at a hard difficulty to get this trophy to pop a little. Whatever, it makes more sense in the actual episode. I'm just thinking about things now. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Felt good. I feel better for doing it. So I hope you enjoy. It. I had good fun. Got to talk about One Piece even more. I know I probably do this a lot on the show already, but God, One Piece. Fucking other manga, all baller shit. Just so, without further ado, I hope you enjoy. Yo, what is up, people? This is Tom coming at ya, fast and loose, big dick swinging. And we're just gonna fucking chill here and spend some time. No? It's been about a week, which I think is, I don't know. Not like I said, I ever fucking promised any. I kind of just want to do this whenever, but I don't really know when that is, really, I guess. Or I don't know when the last one came out. I lost track of time, because things just kind of things get delayed, and then things come out early, and who cares? But yeah, I just kind of been feeling like doing more. Well, of course I want to do more. This is just fun to do and easy. So here we are, chilling, just doing this, and just kind of want to randomly ramble about some shit. And I guess the big one this last, week would be manga's the greatest thing ever to happen to me. Fucking ever. Finally caught up to One Piece in its entirety. Took forever. 875 chapters when I finished. That was the last one I just read. It's 875. Kind of the wrap up of the Big Mom shit. Pretty fucking cool. What a cool fucking series. It's like everything. Watching how things tie together is so fucking rad. And the what do you call it? The ability for Oda, the writer, to implement a thing super far back and then bring it back in later. The Lola thing from Throwers Bark arc, her being the daughter of the villain of the most recent arc, which is, I want to say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 or no, 600 chapters in between. But he'll reference stuff. Apparently, we've already seen Luffy's mother, and so she's just a background character, I guess. She's appeared in the manga, he said in some interview. So stuff like that, where there are these characters that are just, he's, I don't know how he writes it. That's the really fascinating thing to me, is how much of it. I mean, he's been writing it apparently since he was a kid. It's been this. He would always in his little notebooks design the characters for this pirate manga he always wanted to do, and he's got all this other bullshit that he wanted to do and stuff like that. But I would really like to know like how he does it all, because he's got to keep track of so much shit. It's just unbelievable how much shit he's got to keep track of. He's keeping like well, all I do know for sure is that all the major characters, he has their powers figured out, which makes sense because like how they interact with each other and stuff like that is a big part of it. Like when Luffy and the crew were in Skypiea, the fact the lightning guy, I forget that guy's name, Luffy was like a direct counter to him, so like it's cool how he'll always work in ways things work, and then like, or you can do things like with the Big Mom stuff and like the sloth of her fucking abilities with the different soul shit. So like it's kind of cool. Like he does like I was listening to a podcast about One Piece. They were talking about how he'll do he'll work out the economy and like the culture of each island, and like. That was like they're right. Like that is what he does do that. Like then the newest one, people have they're paying up soul to stay on the island or whatever for defense or just like some islands being guarded by various of the Yonko or the pirate emperors. So like some islands in the New World. Well, I guess it's not just. I guess it's most of the New World. I mean, I don't know if the mermaid place counts as the New World. Kind of in between, but regardless. Certain islands on the New World are property and are within custody of different Yonko, and like how like the economy of the mermaid place revolves around the candy factory, because Big Mom owned this island, so Big Mom wanted candy, so they fucking like it's cool. He'll do shit like that, and then she later plays into it, and we see where she's from and how what that meant with the candy, why that was so important, and all that shit. Learning about our history. And the crazy thing, so they have been hinting at these characters for a long time, most of which we have a general idea on. The biggest mystery is Shanks, the guy from the very beginning, who I was thinking the other day, browsing the One Piece wiki, because it's just fun. There's so much shit, and there's so many people who read it over and over again and are finding little details of background characters showing up later and stuff like that, or things are referenced early on that did play out, like the Lola being Big Mom's daughter, that kind of thing. But it happens throughout the whole series. That's just a big one that played in recently. But someone pointing out that when Shank in the very first chapter, when Shanks saves Luffy, and we learn about their history and why Luffy has the straw hat and all that stuff, and Shanks swims out into the ocean to save Luffy from a Sea King, gets his arm chomped off. You can't swim in the ocean if you have a Devil Fruit power. So like, does Shanks just not have a power? Like, is Shanks gonna just be some crazy swordsman? That he's just unbelievable. Is he like basically Zoro, just as like a captain instead of like a first mate or whatever position Zoro holds? I'm not really sure. I think it's first mate. I'm not really sure actually what Zoro's complete position is. He always has like second highest bounty until I think Usopp might have the second highest now, due to being a silly goof. But yeah, he swims out in the ocean, and also had a devil fruit, the one that Luffy ended up eating, that Luffy ended up taking and eating. So like, was that his intent? Like, did he not have one? And that was like 12 years, I believe. No, not 12 years. Is it 10 years? I feel like Luffy trains for. That's when Luffy's like a little kid, and then we skip his learning phase. We skip how he learns, how his power works, all that shit, and we just do the adventure part, which I think is actually pretty smart and on Oda's part as like a writing thing, because a lot of shonen manga, which it's for those that don't know, that's the genre that One Piece is. Dragon Ball is also shown in Hunter x Hunter is shown in Naruto, Bleach, those are shonens if you don't know. But a very common thing in shonens is witnessing the training, watching someone become stronger, like the core of it, I guess you could say, would be more of the preparing and like the practice and all that shit happens a lot in Hunter x Hunter. There's a lot of them practicing, a lot of them learning a new thing, and then we see how that thing is implemented, etc., etc. Or sometimes we'll just witness like, oh, this is what they kind of did for training. And One Piece goes backwards. We see a flashback of him as a kid. We see him learning his powers, but the series just starts off with the adventure, because that's the point of One Piece, is this adventure with friends. I mean, Luffy says it all the time, where he doesn't want to. The thing he wants to do is whatever makes for the most fun adventure. So he will put himself in danger to go, have the better adventure, because that's what it's about. So they skipped that part, which I kind of thought was cool. But I'm pretty sure that was like, I want to say it's like 12 years to the current time part of the timeline, maybe, because there's a 2-year time skip. So I want to say he trains for like 10 years. Maybe it's 8 or something like that. I want to say it's like 17 when he leaves the island. So he made him like 7, but whatever. So there's a possibility that Shanks got a devil fruit in between that gap somewhere. But yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool if he actually just didn't fucking have a power. He was just like, whatever. Because they're pretty rare. Like, when you're reading the series, you're like, every fucking person and their mother has a power. But they are actually pretty rare. I mean, only Brook, Chopper, Robin, Luffy. Is that it? Are these the only ones? Who am I missing? I think it's only 4 members of the Straw Hats have devil fruit powers. Am I forgetting someone? I might be. Let me think. Well, Usopp doesn't, Zoro doesn't, Sanji doesn't, Nami doesn't, Frankie doesn't. Yeah, that's probably, I think that's it. Did I got that right? 5, 9? I think they have 9 people? Whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, so like not everyone on that crew has it, which I think is kind of cool. And they still compete with people who do. Almost every villain has a devil fruit power. There's one guy who showed up before the time skip who didn't have any devil fruit power, and he was like mocking them. He's like, how the fuck do you guys have devil fruit powers and get this far, and I'm still beating the shit out of you? And we later learn all about how he was doing shit with the hockey system and all that stuff, which is kind of cool because it's not complicated. It's like an additional thing for like a power set. It's to raise the power or get the characters closer to the power ceiling, and why it makes sense that like when Rayleigh can block the kick of, I forget the guy's name, but he is the admiral with the light powers. I don't remember his name, but he blocks his kick, but the man is literally made of light. And so it's like, how the fuck they do that? And we learn how that's possible. So it makes our our main cast way like they do the cool shit now. They block an attack that, you know, or they can hit, because there's like, I think I mentioned on the show, there's the multiple types of devil fruits, and the one that basically makes you like almost like an element. Oh, not always go, because like one of them is mud. But it basically makes you like, actually, what was the guy who just became, was he Gummy? You know, whatever. If you don't have, what do you call it? If you don't use hockey, your attacks fall through someone, which is why the lightning guy versus Luffy was such a big deal, is because Luffy didn't know how to do that, but he could still hit him because he was made of rubber, so it didn't matter. It just kind of passed through. So cute things like that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like but I was talking about Big Mom. They kind of insist that Big Mom, or like they introduce the concept of Big Mom. She's really into candy and all this other bullshit. And you're like, what? How the fuck is she? Like, that's such a dumb thing. And like, she just seems like the weakest member of these super pirates, who are 4 of them. What are they again? Oh, it's Kaido, Big Mom, Shanks, and now Blackbeard. Now that I say it out loud, seems silly that that is the one that replaces Whitebeard. Blackbeard replaces Whitebeard. But there's a very cool like lore reason and a story reason for him to take that spot, so kind of cool. But well, goddamn, Blackbeard was Whitebeard was such a pimp when he was in the shit series, so cool. But yeah, so like of the 4, because like Kaido, I think I want to say his nickname's the Immortal, and then like there's Shanks, who we've seen hints of, and he's a total badass and probably either the last boss or close to the last boss's thing. I feel like it has to be Blackbeard due to like actions that happen in the series. He has to be the last boss. Like, it'd be crazy if he's not. He's just kind of built up as like just pure evil, and he's just fucking with shit, and he's doing shit that's like, fuck this guy, we hate him. He's really well written to being like, this is a great villain, I hate this guy, like I also want this guy destroyed. And so Big Mom just seemed like the weakest one, the worst one. And I thought it was weird because Luffy and Law end up talking a little bit about like, all right, we're gonna stop Kaido, we're gonna take Kaido down, and like it made sense within the structure of the world because of what Kaido was doing. He's doing the stuff with the created devil fruits, and he's doing all this stuff, and he's building this army and all the blah blah blah, and it made like there were reasons for them to be like, we need to take this guy down. But like that seemed weird that he was the first one to go down of the 4, because obviously Luffy's taken out all 4 of them. Even though I think Shanks is gonna be more of a friendly duel. He might be the last boss, but in a more friendly duel setting. Because when Luffy gets his hat, it's Shanks' hat. It was he had it when he was on Roger's the previous Pirate King's crew when he was like a little kid. He wore the hat, which I think also came from Roger, because Roger is seen meeting Rayleigh and he has the hat on. So he probably gave it to Shanks. Shanks then gives it to Luffy in the first chapter, and he's saying when you, I forget the exact wording, but it's something to the effect of, when you're strong enough, come give me this hat back. I forget if you can beat me, or if if you could something. I'm mixing it up in my head for the wording, because there's a part in Hunter x Hunter where Hisoka is like, when you can hit me back, or is that Hisoka? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Was it not Hisoka? I'm pretty sure it was Hisoka. And he's like, if you can hit me back, it is Hisoka. It's part of the Hunter exam. He goes, when you can hit me back, I'll take my badge back. Because he gave Gon his badge and was like, whatever. So it's a similar idea, but I think I'm forgetting the exact wording that Shanks used, because it was 874 chapters ago. But still, he something to the effect of like, if you can give me this, if you can beat me, show me you're strong, whatever the wording was, it'll clearly play into it. So I think it'll be more of a friendly duel, but Blackbeard will be like the big bad, which I don't think is cool, which I also think is cool, because Blackbeard is like the most famous pirate in real life, and there are a lot of parallels to like real pirates. Blackbeard, there's Captain Kidd, all this shit. The idea of the One Piece is like the real Captain Kidd's big treasure that no one ever found. So it's kind of like, it's got a little cool, like little real world pirate parallels. Holy shit. Which I think is always pretty cool. And so I feel like it would be almost poetic to have Blackbeard be the last villain, or the big boss, the big end boss, because it's just kind of like this, he's being built up as this huge evil dude, and then he would also be this kind of like Oda's self-insert OC character type thing, beats the big pirate from our reality. So kind of cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so Big Mom just seemed like the weakest one. I keep blowing off on tangents on this. And then I thought it was weird that Kaido would be a target, because we know what Blackbeard can do. We have an idea. We know what Kaido is doing, and the fact that I believe, I really do feel like his title is the Immortal, but I could be wrong on that. It's not to the effect of that, and we've seen things that he's done that make me think that that's true, but I could be wrong. So we know what he can kind of do. We know Shanks is kind of a badass, and Big Mom was just kind of like, this is a really lame, like, she's kind of lame, and like for a while she'd always been kind of shown in shadow. I'm like, that's a really dumb character design. She looks like a fucking idiot. This seems really dumb. She seems like she'll be kind of a pushover, but man, they fucking get to Whole Cake Island, and it's just like fucking cool shit. It is a little weird that most of the powers are candy based and like sweet based. Like a lot of her children are like a cracker man, a gummy man, like I was talking about earlier. Like, it's kind of weird, but like, if you don't think about it too hard, it's like, who gives a shit? And like, she's like, a lot of the Yonko are so strong that they have like other people in their, their service, because she does it through marriage and stuff. We see some other characters that she can introduce, other characters that are introduced in this are fucking awesome. They're so cool. Fucking the whole Vin Smokes and shit, fucking so cool. Their whole getup and their whole thing is really cool. I do like them because it's another kind of like I was saying, that like it seems that everyone has a devil fruit power. The Vin Smokes don't, and I think it's kind of cool to see them compete with other devil fruit users and being like, oh, they're fucking badass as shit. This makes sense, like they could be a threat to other groups of pirates, other nations and stuff, because even though they don't have devil fruit power, so it's not like, so devil fruit powers are like incredibly strong, incredibly helpful for the people in the world of One Piece, but there are ways around it. I think that's cool. Like Frankie showing that there are ways around it. Sanji, Zoro, there are ways around it. Like Zoro is just a hockey master. He's just really good at hockey. Hockey? Actually, am I saying that wrong? No, I'm saying it out loud. That sounds like I'm saying the sport hockey, but it's hacky. Haki. Maybe it's hacky. Whatever, doesn't matter. He's just really good at it, so he can fucking do shit, because he just uses swords, and like, so he's just good at this technique, and that makes him better, and I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, so One Piece is just, like, I finished it, and I've been reading on my phone, so I put my phone down, I was like, fuck, this is a masterpiece. Like, this is just so well done, that like, every chapter is just like, exciting, and amps me up, and I'm just like, it's just fun to read. It's a perfect blend of like comedy and really serious moments. Like, I've come so close to crying at so many scenes. When Robin says, I want to live, holy shit, fuck my shit right up. That is such a great scene, because it also is paired with one of those badass fucking panels in all of One Piece. They're all fucking standing on the roof, the ramparts of that building. It's just like, fucking, it's so badass. And then immediately follow up like a really emotional moment. The whole thing with the Marine Fort attack, and I think I kept calling it the Great War or something, Pirate War or something, but I think that might not be its official name. It might just be the Great War. I could be wrong. I forget. It has a different name. Marine Fort is where it took place, but that battle and the whole stuff with Ace, that was fucking cool. The cool thing about that one too is they built up Ace as like, this mysterious brother that Luffy had for a while, and then we started learning about Ace as Luffy went to go get to him, and down Impel Down, and then all the way there, and then once we get there, we were like really attached to him. We see this like total passion and drive for Luffy to go save his brother. I think it's just so fucking, it was just so fucking cool, and like the whole, because it just, and like the thing I like about One Piece, and I don't know if other people think of it this way, but I like the way that it has what I would call like a pre-arc, or like, so a typical thing, like, well, let's use a better example. I don't want to use the current example because it's not finished, so we don't really know where things are going, but what would be a good example? I guess we could say, like a good example would be the Dressrosa arc, which was with Doflamingo and all that stuff. They spend a bunch of time on like Punk Hazard, which is almost as long and it's detailed that we could consider that its own arc, but like everything that happens in Punk Hazard leads into Dressrosa. Like they literally leave there into Dressrosa. The Dressrosa events happen. It's longer and more detailed, and there's a lot more things happening, but like the way that things are structured in Punk Hazard, like we meet Caesar, we learn about what he was doing on Punk Hazard, we kind of learn a little bit about Punk Hazard, we learn about stuff about the Marines, like it's pretty dense, but it's like almost, because a lot of things are foreshadowed that we should see coming up theoretically, but like a lot of things that are happening in One Piece, or in Punk Hazard, are directly leading into the Dressrosa arc. So it's almost like they do this, and like the Marine Ford battle, this War of the Greats. We had Impel Down leading into this arc. So everything, because it was like almost in that event too, there's like no downtime. There's them, Luffy gets there, he goes down, he gets on a boat, he's immediately at Marine Ford, and then the whole thing happens there, which is like, I want to say it's like 30 chapters of just like battle, just fighting. It's fucking awesome. And apparently, according to Oda, that's like the halfway point, which makes perfect sense, the way the story is kind of structured, and kind of goes into that power ceiling idea we were talking about with Mike in the last one, where it's like, we saw what all the big dogs can do. We saw what they're fucking made of, and like what that means to be like this level of a badass. And actually, even to that effect, basically, I would start that arc as soon as Koma hits Luffy away. Like once he starts swatting away the Straw Hats. That's where that, I would say, that like pre-arc starts. He lands on the island with all the women, and then we meet Hancock, and then so like all of that, like, because it's all just like one flowed motion where it's just like he's with Hancock, he learns about a little bit of that, learns about the Shikibukai that she is, then they go to Impel Down, then they go through Impel Down, we reconnect with a bunch of old characters, learn about new characters, learn about the world government and the way the Marines work a little bit more, then go to Marine Ford, learn even more about but at that point, Marine Ford, we're learning about the fucking crazy people, we're learning about Whitebeard, all of the admirals, what the Shikibukai can do, more or less. Sengoku, we see what he can do for the first and maybe the only time. He retired, I think, after that. Because he hasn't been around. I forget and I think he did retire. I think someone else took his position, because he hasn't been around. So I forget exactly what happened. It's been so long. There's so much, so dense. I can see why people read it over and over again, because it's just so dense to try to keep track of everything that's happening. But yeah, it's just so fucking cool. So well done. So it's just so brilliant. Big fan of everything that like One Piece is doing. Actually, because of that, now I'm kind of caught up, but still got that itch for more One Piece. I've been watching a lot of the movies, and I watched the first 2 already, and they're pretty fun. They're kind of just long episodes at the moment, but like I know a few of them are like really fucking good. I want to say it's like movie 6, which is done by the director of the first Digimon movie, not the Japanese, or not the American one that you're thinking, the viewer would be thinking of necessarily, because that one, if I'm not mistaken, is a culmination of different movies like put together. I want to say like the first 3 Japanese movies, because they're short. It was apparently One Piece and Digimon movies always came out like as double features, so they're like 55 minutes as opposed to 2 hours. So like I feel like the American one's like 2 movies, maybe 3 movies. No, I feel like it's a bunch of stuff combined. It's not the same thing, and it's edited in a very different way. Music choices were changed for licensing, I believe, and stuff like that. So, and the Digimon anime is different English to Japanese due to just censorship, and because they don't want to show certain things to kids. But he did that movie, Summer Wars, Boy and His Beast, another one that I'm trying to think of that is important, but I don't remember at the moment. I don't remember his name. I wish I could remember, but I don't. He did, I believe it's the 6th One Piece movie, which is apparently amazing. And then the newer ones, Gold, and Z, apparently are really good too. I haven't seen those two. Apparently, the Gold movie referenced the newest crewmate that's going to be on the Straw Hats when it came with the, I guess because they're in a casino, so I guess playing cards in an opening or something showed each card that like numbered was each crew member as they joined the crew, and I guess the 10th one came out as Jinbei, and it's like 99% confirmed that he's joining. It's very possible like one thing happens and like, oh, we can't, because I almost thought he was going to join back when he first showed up, but then he was talking about stuff and then had to go do stuff that brought him back in, that dealt with this current arc. So, like, they're just cool. I just want to keep up with them and just have all that. But some of them seem like full arcs. Like, there's an Alabasta movie, which is, like, the full arc, but condensed into, like, a 2-hour span as opposed to the whole thing. So I might skip those. Those seem weird. There's the whole thing with the Drum Island with Chopper, and, like, that might just be a condensed part of that, which is, like, that was only okay anyway. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of, like, what was going on there. It was short. It was really short. So I didn't really have a lot of time to develop, and, like, the villain was stupid, and I hated him. So, like, I don't know. He was weird. I mean, he got dealt with in seconds, so it wasn't a huge deal. Like, it's such a blip on the radar of One Piece. Like, and it's where I'm at, like the first few movies, it's really weird to go read a chapter, this late in, and then go watch the movies where there's like the first 2 movies I think still take place in East Blue, which is crazy because they have been in like they're in the Grand Line for, I want to say, at the current amount written, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, well, actually, maybe not. Maybe it's not. It's probably 2/3 of it, I think. Because they sell these box sets of the manga. There's 3 of them as of now. A 4th is probably going to come out soon if things are done. I want to say there's like 80-something volumes of the manga, and I think they have, I guess they have to have about 10 each, maybe a little less, maybe like 8 each per volume, chapters. And the first box is called East Blue. So I would guess the 2/3 of the current series, rough estimate, would be in the Grand Line. So it's weird that, like, these movies are still taking place, like, before the Grand Line. Like, it's just kind of odd. And, like, the amount of stuff we've learned about, like, the way they fight and all this stuff, and, like, seeing Luffy just do, like, Gum Pistol over and over again is weird, because, like, he hasn't done that forever. Like, he has all these other crazy moves that are way cooler, and he can do all this different stuff. So it's, like, weird to go back in time. So I'm more looking forward to the newer stuff. And, like, some of the crewmates that I love, like Brooke and Robin, and, like, they're just not in the older movies. They didn't show up till way later. So it's weird that, like, these movies are the way they are. Apparently there are shorts that, like almost like a Pixar short that are, like, companion pieces with each of these. And those sound fun. I might look some of those up, because they're, like, really, like, super dumb, non-canon fun stuff. Like, one of them, I think, is all of them playing soccer, which sounds delightful. And I don't know if Robin's on the crew at that point, but she would be the best goalie for reasons. If you've read One Piece, you understand, because her power is silly. Actually, fucking OP as shit, actually. If it does she can, like, it's crazy. She can maybe duplicate her whole self. I think she did it once. She made a clone of herself, I think. That was what happened. I forget. But yeah, she's fucking dope. Robin, best girl of all time, forever, and everything. Yeah, the movies are kind of cool. But because I've, like, run out of manga, like, now that I've caught up, I'm like, fuck, I really miss having this. So I started reading, I started reading Dr. Stone and rereading the beginning of My Hero Academia, because I read it initially when it came out, like back in 2014, maybe 2015. I picked it up early 2015. And I thought it was really slow and kind of annoying. I thought chapters were too long, and it was slow, and, like, the pacing, like, things happened in weird orders, and, like, I wasn't a huge fan. I read, like, 2 chapters, and I'm like, wow, this went by in no time, and, like, things I thought were, like, multiple chapters, like the training at the beach, I thought was, like, for some reason in my mind, I remembered it being, like, just chapters and chapters, like, almost, like, 5 chapters, and, like, training, trying to not fail, and it was, like, 3 pages, and I was like, what the fuck? Why did I remember this so differently? So I've been enjoying the shit out of it now. It's a lot of fun, but Dr. Stone, 23 chapters out right now. It's brand new. It's fucking awesome. I recommend anyone who likes manga to read Dr. Stone. It's a shonen manga, like I was saying earlier, but not a battle manga. So they're not fighting, they use science. And the premise is one day, just randomly one day, every single human and birds, which I think just exclusively sparrows actually, are turned into stone. Everyone's petrified, and sparrows. I don't know why. And so everyone's petrified, and 3,700 years pass, and then the main character wakes up. And he wakes up, he's like, what the fuck is happening? And he basically, at the moment of like petrification, was about to tell this girl that he loves her. And the whole reason he is like the entire 3,700 years, he is in his mind, like staying conscious by just thinking, I'm going to tell her I love her. I'm going to tell her I love her. And like, it's like being a weird dork. And when he wakes up, he walks out of this cave and another dude shows up and he's like, finally someone woke up. And he woke up like 6 months before him. And he's like this super duper brilliant scientist. And like so it's weird because they're both high school students and like so it's the scientist and then he has apparently infinite endurance. That's not true, but he's like crazy endurance. So he becomes the labor and then he becomes the science and they're going to rebuild civilization. And so it's a lot of experiments of the science kid, Senku, figuring out what can stop petrification and like their experience through that. And like, so he's experimenting on that and then they're building certain stuff and it's just so fucking cool. It's just so cool because it's like actually written. I'm not a science expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I understand a lot of stuff that they're saying. Like a lot of stuff they're saying, I'm like, I've heard of those things talked about together, so maybe that makes sense. And it just it seems really well researched. It's written by the guy who wrote Ice Shield 21, which is an old football manga that I never read, but always had ads in other mangas I read because in the back they'll have like little ads. It seemed pretty like. I don't know. It seemed different. It was like, yeah, but it's like just American football. Just weird. And then but the first time I've ever seen this, the writer is not the artist. The artist is this South Korean guy named Bochi, and he's fucking unbelievable. He is so good. Dr. Stone is so well drawn, and it has like, it just doesn't have to be, but it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's just so well done, and everything just looks great, and and the environments and stuff like that, and because like it's been so long, everything's degraded. It's just a big jungle now, so there's really no like remnants of anything, very very much. So there's like most of it's just jungle. So like he'll have these crazy panels of just this detailed forest, like establishing shot, and like some of the fucking like character models are so well done, and it's just like it's so impressive that like this guy is just amazing. He's just he does a lot of manga, I guess. I researched him a little bit. He's just a South Korean dude who's like, I'm just gonna do manga. And so he started doing that. It's just like, oh my god, it's fucking really cool. Just like watching him, and because like he knows everything. So they're in the Stone Ages, but he knows so much. And like if you just pretend like they kind of establish why a high schooler would know so much, but like it is a little weird at first. You're like, he's in high school and he knows everything. This kid's he's literally Einstein. He's got E equals MC square like written on his jacket. So he's like an Einstein type. But yeah, he is just like he's making leaps in bounds in like civilizational technology evolution, just like developing the next thing like immediately, quickly, super fast and everything like that. And it's really cool. It's really really cool. I don't know how much of these resources actually exist in Japan. I always thought it was like a resource like sparse region, but whatever. I'll pretend. If that might even be true. A lot of these resources might actually exist in Japan. I don't know. It seems pretty accurate to like understanding what is in Japan and not. But it's pretty cool. It's just really well done, really cool world, really cool like ways of solving things, because it's literally like very, very little is solved with any kind of violence. Almost none. There's maybe like 2 or 3 scenes of like kind of like a physical confrontation. A lot of it is like the 3D chess type thing that I like from like a Death Note, where it's a lot of thinking and a lot of like, we need this thing. So I'm gonna design a pulley because that'll solve this. I'm gonna invent the pulley again. I'm gonna invent the wheel again. Or I guess the wheel and the pulley kind of come together. But he will do this shit, and like the way he's designing these things are in such cool like prehistoric ways. So it's like he takes a tree, he cuts it into sections, and he bowls out the part the rope's gonna go down. He fucking creates a rope, and he does this and that. It's just really fucking cool. I was so impressed, and like I couldn't put it down. Like I was just reading through the whole thing, all 23 chapters of it. It's very fucking cool. It's kind of rising in popularity, so like we'll probably start seeing more and more of it. But at the moment, I think it's really fucking cool. Like if you've never, I guess, kept up on a manga as it comes out, and it comes out like once a week, that'd be it's an easy one to jump into. It's just a cool concept and just a neat fucking, just a neat story. And like the main character is Taiju, the endurance guy at first, But where we are currently, I think the writer realized that Senku, the science guy, is way more interesting. So the shift might change to him. So this romance thing that's kind of based on for Taimu's, like, I want to tell this girl I love her. That might go away, and it might be more like, I'm going to save civilization, because that's way more interesting anyway. And the last few chapters have been far more science focused and like him like saving humanity and civilization. So I think it's going to make that shift, which I think is that's the right call, because like no one cares about your romance. Like that's just it's such a typical like high school manga thing that we don't need. Like that makes me remember that these are high school students, where I'd rather just be forgetting that and just thinking about like this fucking mad science dash rush. I don't know what science rush. That's what I'm trying to say. This fucking cool, like he just does building things and like, we need this, we need that. How do I do that? And like, it'll show like, maybe not necessarily always explicitly, but like, he walks into his little fort and he's got a wall of failed experiments from when he's, trying to figure out how to depetrify someone. So like he goes like, actually learning and experimenting, and it seems to be really fucking well done. Like, there's parts where he failed. He's like, you gotta remember, this is just a hypothesis, or like, he's like, I don't know anything, let me just come up with a hypothesis and let me just try something, because that's what's important. It doesn't matter, I failed that, gotta come up with something else, and he'll just kind of move and do cool shit, and it's fucking rad. It's a very, very cool one. So I've been reading that, finished that, got into My Hero Academia, really enjoying it. I've always liked the character designs of My Hero Academia. I think they just look great. The story didn't hook me initially, and I got pretty far when I first read it. Whatever it was up to date, but I was like, yeah, it's kind of bland. I don't know why I thought that, because I am enjoying it way more now. Maybe it's because it's on my phone, and I can kind of read it whenever. I can just like bullet through chapters really fast, as opposed to like, I was reading on the computer, and like, the thing I hate about reading online manga that's not been downloaded anyway is the page loading is a pain in the ass. I just don't like that. I'd rather just download it, and they're fucking the tiniest little files. So I just download them all to my phone for all these series, and I just read them that way. I think it's so much better. It's so much more fun. Just like it's closer to a book when you're just scrolling through, as opposed to like you click the page, it loads. Click the page, it loads. It's more entertaining this way. Although there is that one website, Manga Reader, I think, that people can leave annotations on the page, which is a lot of fun. That's a fun reason to read that one, because you can kind of see people's fucking stupid memes and shit on the images, which is fun. But I prefer downloading it. It's just better. It's just better that way, I think. What else is there? Let's see here. I guess, so still on the endless grind that is Persona 5. Still a fun game, and man, things start happening at the end of that game that just fucking excite me. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. This is fucking rad. I'm real enjoying this. It just, once it hits like a certain point, I'm gonna say like Palace 5, everything like starts to really take off and just go in a really cool way, and like everything is so fucking cool. But I'm not here for that story. I'm just trying to get that platinum trophy, meaning you do everything in the game basically. So I'm just here for that, and I'm only 4 away. And then, so I'm 4 away. The request one, the compendium one, and the social link one are well on their way to being done. Like they are fucking smooth sailing from here on out, man. It's smooth fucking sailing from here on out. Not gonna be a problem whatsoever. But it's the one where you have to listen to 250 unique Futaba voice lines that is driving me fucking crazy. And now I know that the Persona 4 one, where you have to listen to 250 resave voice lines, is way harder, which actually, because this one's so hard, discouraging me from wanting to do the resave one, even though that one's probably better researched than this one. There's a lot of times where I'm reading online and people are like, oh, the thing she says in the overworld, as long as she appears in the upper right-hand corner, those ones count. And then not just the battle ones, because every time she talks in battle as your navigator, a little upright corner thing with her picture and her line shows up there. And apparently the ones outside of battle count, but maybe they don't. Who knows? I don't know. It's a pain in the ass. I'm not a fan. And she apparently has more lines, so she'll say maybe 2 or 3 things per event that's happening. So your character gets knocked down. She has maybe 2 voice lines for that. You knock down, this character knocks down this many enemies. She has a few voice lines for that. So it theoretically should be way faster. She has a bunch of unique ones for boss fights. Rise did as well, but she has like really unique ones for different boss fights where she'll be saying something. We don't really know if it confirms one, if it has to play out completely or just show up. I don't know. But I thought about it and I was like, why is this so hard? It has like a 27%, what would you call it? 27% of people who play Persona 5 have gotten this trophy. I'm like, how is that number so high? This is so hard. This should be the hardest one. I don't understand. And I thought about it, and the thing that really fucking drives me crazy about it is that the fact that it is really hard for people that are good at Persona. That's what it is. If you're good at this game and you're not getting knocked down, characters aren't dying, people aren't getting hit with status effects, you don't hear voice lines. And it was like, fuck, that I'm too good to get this fucking trophy. That's why in 2 playthroughs, I'm like struggling so hard. Because like in the first one, I didn't give a fuck. I just played. I was like, it doesn't matter. If it happens, it happens. People are saying it just happens when they play generally. Whatever. And I've noticed that she was saying a bunch of unique things during boss fights. Whatever. Who cares? But now that I'm playing it a second time and I'm like keeping track improperly. I found like a script of all of her different lines that count potentially. More or less, most of the battle ones online, and then I opened a notepad document, and I was like clicking on, I was like keeping track that way. Should have that from the beginning. I didn't, and instead I have just a notepad with fucking tally marks, and according to that, I can look right now, I have 215. But that could be horribly off because I don't know. I have absolutely no idea what counts, and like I don't know if I duplicate any of those. I don't know if I just skip some of those. Sometimes I'm like, I feel like I've heard this line before, so I'm not gonna mark it. Sometimes I'm like, I think I haven't heard this one. I'll mark it because I played the two. I played the first playthrough and this one so close together that like some of them are kind of like, well, I've heard her say that, but I don't know if that was like new. And so I've been doing different things, and like it's just. Probably what I have to do is like really force it, and it's really annoying to force because some of these status effects, like if you get hit with a status, so for the one thing, the one character is temporary, but he has voice lines. So I was like, all right, let me try to push him while I can. You can go to this like section, extra dungeon that you have infinite time in, and you can kind of just try to force them. But I had already hit the max level, so. Because when you get into battle by running into people on the overworld, they're little monsters walking around the overworld, and you have to go hit them. They all run away from me because I'm too strong, and I got Ryoji's social link up to 7. Well, he's maxed right now, but at 7 he gets the. I forget, is it called insta-kill? I think the ability is called insta-kill, I think. It is an insta-kill, and if you ambush them and you're over a certain like level threshold, you instantly don't do the battle. They just die, and you can take a persona from there. If your personas are full, you don't get anything, and so you can't like trade them out if you want, and whatever, and you can't get duplicates. So I have to basically like try to hit these guys in like weird angles, but luckily once you kind of get one started, you can run away from the battle and then try to force a different enemy composition to come through so you can get certain voice lines read, which is nice. But some of them don't fucking have lines necessarily, because what you do is the guy so I had to get the guy that I wanted to get the voice line said. He needed to get the voice line, and then the main character with the other person, so I basically a 2-person party to make this a little faster, but like it doesn't really matter necessarily, but you need another character to have their turn, and then that voice line is read because that character can do something to help the other character. Also, because the reason I don't want to have a full party of 4 to like increase the chances that the line is said is everyone I have has an ability that on their turn can remove a status effect from a party member. So everyone on my team, so it's really hard to do for this 9th. No, what is he? Is he the 8th character? The last character you unlock who's temporary, it's really fucking hard to get his voice lines read because by then everyone has all these things that make it really hard, things that like, they all can remove status effects. They all can, and like so you can't have a whole bunch of them on your party because then that increases your chances that they wake this dude up and they fix his fucking problem. And so, and then some of them, like the rage one, you don't have control over. So like sometimes like, like they just go and they kill someone or whatever, or like sleep. If they get hit, they get woken up. So the guys put him to sleep and the other monster will go and hit him and wake him up. And it's just like, it's so fucking annoying to fucking try to force this. And it's just like, I hate how fucking annoying this is. It's just so annoying. It's just such a pain in the dick to try to get this to go. Cause like if I was just worse at the game, it would just happen naturally. Because 27% is really high. Like that's, I mean, like, I mean, that's probably, I don't know the exact math, but I mean, that's like really high. I'm actually, I can probably check. It's probably higher, which is just like, it's just so nuts. It's like, it shouldn't, and like, I'm reading online, I'm reading these forums. I'm like, why is this so hard? This is so hard. And like, everyone was saying that the Persona 4 version is even harder, and like, this is unbelievable. It's so difficult. Oh my God. And, so it's like, okay, is it just me? Why is this so hard? I figured there'd be, because it's so hard, I figured there'd be so many detailed, it's 28.3% actually, which is fucking crazy. But yeah, it was so difficult. I was like, okay, it's gotta be like, I can't be the only one struggling here. I'm reading all these forum posts. People are like, is this a hard trophy? And like, everyone's like, it's just pop for me. I don't know what's going on. Just natural. I don't know what's like, why is everyone having such trouble here? And I was like, why are people saying this is easy? They can go fuck themselves. This is so hard. Why is this such a difficult thing? And then it's because I don't get, like, I just end fights. Like, I go into fights, and I've had so much time I played Persona that I remember what some of these fucking demons, because they're all the same demons from game to game and stuff. I remember what some of them are weak to immediately. Like, some of them get reworked in certain ways. That's like, okay, maybe this one's different. Like, Mothman is now weak to gun. Like, that was never a thing. But, like, a lot of them I can go into and, like, I just know what they're weak to. And now that I've played the game a second time, I know what even more of them are weak to. Like, I know off the top of my head, Mothman is weak to guns. Most things with wings are weak to guns. So, like, I'm just going to try to burn through these fights real quick. And so, like I was listening to the battle theme, and I had realized that the battle theme, like, the first, 10 seconds of the battle theme is what I remember as the battle theme, because fights end so quickly. Because I'm just burning through the game, trying to get through. I just want to get through the game real quick. I don't want to spend more time on the game that I don't need to, because a lot of the game I don't need to. Especially the very beginning of it, the first 4 palaces, you don't have Futaba, so who gives a shit? Who cares? Just get through this. And, but like that kind of mentality, I kept that mentality through all the way through, even though I was anticipating this thing. I'm keeping notes, I'm taking shit down, I'm working on this, I'm working on that. It's a real pain in the ass. I found a pretty comprehensive guide on like GameFAQs or something that's kind of breaking it down, and he was like, this many voice lines for this many voice lines for this, and it should equal up to this number, so hopefully you get this, plus with different palace bosses and stuff, they'll have voice lines that should be, that she'll say, so hopefully I should get it, but like, that's the only one I'm like not on track for. Like, I want to say I have one more request, which I forget, I want to say it's like December something, Mishima calls you, or texts you the information on that one, and I have one more social link left, which is the last party member that joins you for real. She is, what do you call it? She's just new, so she wasn't, like, when I had her at 1, everyone else was at, like, 9, 7, I think was the lowest that anyone else was at the time. So I just have her left, plus the ones that do it for the story. So, like, Fool, Magician, Justice, and Judgment happen through the story, and Empress is the only one I gotta do left manually, which shouldn't be too hard. So that one will just happen. Requests should just happen. I have so much free time now because I only have one social link to worry about that I'll just go to Mementos whenever and do that request. I don't care. And what's the other one I'm missing? Forget. Shoot, what is it again? Because I'm missing 4 left. Because I got the one where you make the Ultimate Persona, which is fun. He was expensive. I did not realize how. I mean, I read somewhere online he's like one of the most expensive in like all of Persona history, but like fuck, he was expensive. Did not prepare for that. And Compendium, which is potentially fucking fuckable. I don't know, fucked up. You might be able to fuck that one up. Because all I really need is one. I need the max. Every time you finish a social link, they're all of the Arcanas of like the tarot cards. They all have like a ultimate for their Arcana, and I just need the Empress one, which is the last social link I need to work on. Because I built all the other ones. You get to keep. Luckily, I didn't know this until recently, even during this playthrough. You get to keep the information for every social link you maxed out from the previous playthrough. So if you want, even though you keep your compendium, but you keep the like recipes, I guess you'd call them, for each one that you've maxed out. So like I built like Tower's Ultimate one before I finished him in this playthrough. So like, which is actually kind of weird because when you bring a persona of that Arcana to a social link, you get bonus points and it'll tell you. So I brought the Ultimate Tower one to finish up Tower, which is kind of weird. But yeah, so like the Arcana or so I just have that one, and there are just 2 treasure demons now, which are like rare enemies that spawn with, they give you extra XP and money or something, I forget. because I usually just collect them. You don't see them that often. And I'd missed 3 of them. I think I did get 1. I almost fucked it up because apparently if you interact with like a thing, like you click on an object in the world that is like examinable and you examine it and a dialogue shows up, it disappears. And I had found one because it pops out as you basically collect treasure throughout the thing. You break stuff, you steal like things out of the palace. And one of them, and eventually sometimes they'll pop out with a little gem and you can hit the gem and you get that one. And I had gotten him to show up at the little gem and I was chasing around trying to hit him. For some reason I missed like 3 times. And then he got close to the statue that was examinable, and I hit that statue and he disappeared. Let me think. Yeah, so I have 2 more of those. Yeah, 2 more of those. The Empress. So that one would just be done. The Confidants would just be done. And then I think that's it. Oh, and then the request. Yeah, so like everything's on fucking course, man. Everything's on course. Beat the fucking super boss of this game. Really fun fight, actually. Really fun. Surprised how fun that was. I enjoyed that boss like way more than I thought I would. I've never done the other 2 from the other 2 games. Actually, I don't know if there's one. If it's in 3, this may have been a 4 feature. I forget. Maybe I don't remember. But I didn't do that one because I've yet to play 4 again on the New Game Plus, which I want to do soon, maybe. But now this fucking trophy's so annoying that I feel like I'm gonna really dislike going for it because I know they don't carry over or anything, which is a pain in the dick. I don't know if I want to do that because I kind of want to play other things right now because I've been doing this for so long. It's just been such a fucking crazy. I mean, it's been fun to play again, but like this this fucking voice line one. If it's worse at 4, I don't want to do it again. But that's just taking so much time because I couldn't plan for that. I mean, I could have planned for it, but I didn't plan for it. I thought it would just kind of happen if I kind of kept my eye out for it this time, as opposed to like really keeping track. I figured like, if I just kind of keep a tally, it should be fine. But like I'm kind of getting close to the end of the game, and I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna trigger, so I'm a little nervous on that one. But shouldn't be too bad. But like I should be able to get it. I don't know if it'll happen, but I should be able to. But I just want to play like a little smaller things. I want to finish Uncharted 4. Never got through that. I like opened it up and like played like the first like 2 chapters, which is like nothing. Like nothing happens. Like it was barely anything. And then I want to get through Horizon. I just never played Horizon. It should be kind of people like everyone has that fucking platinum. I think that's like an 8% or something, or maybe it's even higher at this point. I feel like anyone who plays that game just gets the platinum. So I feel like I almost have to. Just kind of like if it's that easy, I might as well, So like I don't know if I'm going to, but like it's apparently piss easy. So like I kind of want to try for that one, but like if I don't, who cares? I know they added stuff, so you don't have the 100%, which is kind of always a pet peeve of mine. I think you have to go through a New Game Plus, and I'm not about New Game Pluses right now. So like it's just like yeah, it's 8.3 right now, which is fucking crazy. This trophy I'm trying to get is at 28 or 20 at 28, so like that's pretty high for just like a you did everything trophy. But I feel like I kind of should just get it just because like everyone does. But like it's only like 30 hours to get that, so it's like maybe I just should because like I'm on like 180 in Persona between the 2 playthroughs. So it's just like maybe I should just do all this shit just for funsies. But I kind of just want to play it. I want to see what happens in it because I listen to all these podcasts that do Game of the Year stuff at the end of the year. At that point, it's like we're just gonna spoil things because it helps us like figure out how we want to value certain things. And it's like, well, normally I don't care about spoilers especially if I can help it. It's like if I could have stopped the spoiler if it bothered me, then I would have done the thing that the spoiler was. So whatever. I usually I'll just skip that. Who cares? So I want to get like through those, and then there's some other things I have. Like I have all the Zero Escape, or the first 2 Zero Escape games. I guess it's only the first 2. I guess they just released Zero Time Dilemma, so like I could play those really quick. I don't think those are incredibly long. 999 and Last Virtue, I think is what the second one's called. So I have these really short games. I have Final Fantasy 12, the Reeve thing. I want to do that. The Zodiac Age, I want to try that. Well, I just played 12, so I might hold that off because I can't keep myself away from playing massive JRPG series. Massive JRPG series that are fucking long and crazy and love and having to play them in order. I've started to really play through all the Dragon Quest games. I'm on 2, which is not that great. I have read online somewhere that apparently people think it's really hard, but I think they're talking about the difficulty and not the ambiguity of what the fuck you have to do next. I am so lost all the time. Like, and this kind of happened in 1, so like maybe this is just a thing that happened in early Dragon Quest or something. But like, I just wander the world. Like, if I get stuck, I just wander the world, and then I just find a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, well, okay. Like, I look at the map, I'm like, I haven't been there, I haven't been there, I haven't been there. So I'll just go there, and, like, I'll find, like, treasure and, like, equipment and stuff. I'm like, well, that was kind of cool, I guess. But, like, I still don't know how to move the story along. Like, I still don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what I do with this shit. I just kind of have it all. Like, what? I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. And it's really annoying, because you just kind of, like, wander around. Like, you talk to people, and they're like, oh, hey, this thing, but you're like, I don't have any indication of how to fix that. Like, everyone keeps talking about the sunken boat. I don't know what to do with that. My boat doesn't go underwater, and I've sailed through the area that it is, and it does the fucking thing I hate the most, which is in any RPG, where you can get into battles on boats. Fuck that. Don't do that. It's fucking annoying. Let me have water be sacred and be clean. Be free of monsters, because it's really fucking annoying. I hate it so much. Like, I don't mind, like, a cool boss fight that might happen on a boat or something, or, like, you know, Final Fantasy VII did a couple of fucking cool, fucking boss fights on, like, the airship and stuff. That's fine. But don't have random fucking encounters on a boat. It's so annoying. I hate it so much. Because, like, it's so open and vast that, like, a lot of times if you're trying to, like, find stuff, like, if you're just trying to find shit, it's just so annoying to run into stuff in this big open area. It's like in not Final Fantasy, Pokemon, Ruby and Sapphire. Like, the latter third of the map is all water. And it's really annoying to explore if you're trying to explore everything. Unless you have repels, it's a pain in the ass, because it's just, you just run into shit. It's like, I don't want to see a tentacle for the 9,000th time. I've been skipping them. I don't care. I don't want to do it. It's so annoying. And there's no, I mean, you can kind of cast spells and buy holy water that can prevent people from running into you, but it's like, just let's not have water encounter things, because maybe I could find the stupid boat thing that I haven't found yet, the sunken boat. Maybe there's some kind of, like, you know, it's kind of capsized in a weird way. You can board it and do cool things, and I'm, you know, maybe that does exist, but it's so fucking annoying. And, like, I don't know. It's such a pain in the dick. It is cool. The cool things about it are, they have, the continent the first game took place in, you can go there. It's like a small continent opposed to the full wider world, and you can go to the castle that in the game, and you can go to the castle that the protagonist of the first game, the first hero, like, sets up. Actually, no, is it the castle? It might just be the castle from the first game, the first one you started, I forget, but, because it's structured the same way, but still. And you can go to the castle of the last boss, like, and that whole last boss room is the same. You can go and meet the last boss's ancestor or something, which is pretty cool. So it does, like, cool things, but it's, like, still, like, this world map is poorly designed too, where, like, when I first started out, it took me probably close to, like, 2 hours to find your first party member, and you're locked out of progression until you find party members. And to find the third party member was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And maybe it's because this translation sucks ass, but you're supposed to, so this guy, you go to the castle, the kingdom, in the very beginning of the game, you see a cutscene of this girl run down this, like, little underground passage, and then monsters come and attack this castle, and you walk around the area that you have, and you start hearing about, oh, the Princess of Moonbrook, the castle's been destroyed, I hope the princess is okay, blah, blah, blah. You get to Moonbrook eventually, and you walk around, and you can talk to little ghosts in there, and they start talking about, like, oh, you gotta go find this mirror thing. I first went down underground where she was seen going. She's not there, just a guy, and he's like, you gotta find, actually, he didn't say it, someone else said that, but, like, I wish you could go find this mirror would be so helpful, I wish we had this mirror, blah, blah, blah. And so, I go and get the mirror, and I show up there, and no, it doesn't do anything. I'm like, okay, this doesn't even, like, purify the area, whatever. And so, I talk to, what is the king's ghost, and he says something to the effect of, like, oh, my poor daughter, she now has to roam the world as a mutt or something. Or as like a mutt would or something. And what you're supposed to do is go to the other fucking town where the dog walks around and follows you if you talk to it, and show the fucking dog the mirror. I thought he was just being, like, poetic with his language, but he literally meant she's walking around as a fucking dog, you idiot. Go fucking show her the mirror. And I didn't know I don't know how I was supposed to know that the mirror didn't save the castle but would save her from being a dog. It was so fucking stupid. And, like, the character that the second character, he was just, like, sitting in a bar, but his back was turned to where the camera is, so it's like that flat plane, so you just saw his back, and his back is really unnoticeable. It's like a green cape and, like, green hair, like spiky brown hair, but, like, he's sitting in, like the edge of so it's like a bar, but, like, all is, like, green grass, gray wall, brown floor. And then he is in between. He's, like, his back to this wall. So you just see green, brown. And so, like, my eyes just kept skipping over him because he was just green-brown. And I kept going to these places, and they were like, oh, he went to that place. Oh, he went to that place. And, like, 2 people were saying he went to different places. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So I literally just went to each town until I found him. I was like, oh, you're fucking right here. And, like, the dog thing I had to look up. That was the first thing I've had to look up for an RPG story in so long. Like, occasionally I'll look up stuff like, you know, where did you find this secret boss? Or, you know, is there a strategy for this? Or what did I miss? And I played through this. What was there that I didn't see? Whatever. I'll do shit like that. But now fucking, like, I literally was locked out of story progression until I looked this shit up. And I was like, this is so annoying. What the fuck? And I think it might just be early JRPG jank and just stupid shit. Because people love 3 and 4. 4 more than 3. I don't know. People like 3. People love 3 a lot. And people really like 4. And so I'm really hoping that, like, this stupid shit, like, diminishes and it goes into a more... Because it's the granddaddy of the JRPG. Like, it is the reason we have the genre. So I'm hoping that these things in other JRPGs that I play and I enjoy... Because Final Fantasy 1 came out the same year that Dragon Quest II came out, and they are drastically different games. Like, I would have, if you'd asked me, when did Dragon Quest II came out, I would have said, you know, like 3 or 4 years before Final Fantasy 1, because they're so different. Like, Final Fantasy 1 is not hard to figure out where to go. Like, you're just going, you know, you have your objective and you do it, and then as you're going to your objective, you see some side stuff, you can go deal with it. Maybe you have to go do a little backtracking, but it's clear, you know where you're going, you know the difference in towns. I barely know, like, I have a list of all the names, I can teleport to all of them, but I don't know, like, when someone's like, oh, it's by this thing, I'm like, I know vaguely where that is, but I don't clearly know what that is. It's just, oh my god, bad map design and bad, like, agency, I guess you'd call it. But, like, I didn't even realize until recently that I'm collecting these sigils, and I don't know what to do with them, but I have 4 of them. I think there's only 5. Maybe there's 6. Maybe there's 7. I don't really know. Someone had mentioned a number with them, but it wasn't really clear, because everyone talks in that flowy, stupid, Old English talk, and it's really fucking annoying. I have no idea where the fuck I'm going, so I'll finish the game, because, like, I should be close to done, I think. I hope. I can't imagine. If I have 5, and I looked it up, I think there are only 5. I have 4, I think there are only 5. So I should be almost done. There's a thing I haven't reached, there's like this tower I haven't reached the top of, and I'm assuming that's where the last one is, because it's like, I've been everywhere else. That's the only thing I haven't, like, completed, so it's gotta be in there. I've done everything else that's not, this one, so, like, there was, like, a teleporter I could have taken, but, it was surrounded by, like, I've never seen this in anything else but Dragon Quest 1 and 2. They have, like, damage tiles, where it's, like, tiles you stand on the map will hurt your character, and there's, like, in this one, there are 2 in Dragon Quest 1, there's 3 in this one, and there's, like, this yellow squiggly one, and I think that one does obscene amounts of damage, because, the one, I had kind of walked through the one and gotten to where I think is the last dungeon, or last, like, area, like, boss area. Because on the map, there's this huge mountain range surrounding this area, and then I think that's where you end up, because I teleported to an area that I couldn't get outside. I couldn't figure out how to get out there, because everything was surrounded by this like, dangerous floor, and characters were dying just by walking on it. I finally got a spell that lets me traverse that, and I should be able to get through it easier, but, like, it was just really, like, I was like, I don't even want to explore this, because I feel like I'm just going to get murdered. Like, even, I am getting murdered just by these fucking spells, or this floor, like, I can't imagine. So, it's the only area I haven't seen, so I think that's the end of the game. I can't imagine there's much more, but I might as well get to the top of the stupid tower and just figure out what the fuck's going on. And then that'll be great, but, like, once that's all done, I'll move on to 3 and 4, and I know 4 is really highly regarded. And 3, from what I've looked up, because every time I get into a series like this, I spend so much fucking time researching stuff, just, like, learning about cool stuff, about games that I'll play eventually. And 3 is a prequel of these, the first 2 games talk about Erdrick, and you're the descendants of Erdrick, and, like, I think the third one you play as him, which is pretty fucking cool. And then, 4, I just always hear good things about. People talk about Dragon Warrior 4 being one of the better games on the NES, and that's Dragon Quest 4. But for an American audience, they'd use Dragon Warrior. Because I'm not sure why. I think it had something to do with, like, a tabletop game had the name Dragon Warrior, or Dragon Quest, so they changed it, but I guess that ended because everything's Dragon Quest now, so I don't know. And then, yeah, I want to play 5 and 6, and then I'll get them on the DS. 1 through 4 I'll play on the phone, because apparently 1 through 3, those are the best versions, until this apparent PS4 release comes, but that's only in Japan at the moment. And then 4, I guess the better version is the phone version. And then 5 and 6, DS. 7, 3DS. And then 8, I'm not sure. I might play on the 3DS because at that point it's like, why would I not be playing these handheld? I've been doing this consistently. And handheld RPGs are super nice. Big fan. If you're like, man, RPGs sound really cool, but they're so time consuming, get them on any form of a handheld and you'll like learn, like you'll be able to like play them through and like not be too concerned. Because they always have like modern handhelds have like really good sleep features. So you can kind of just like close your phone or minimize the app, or close your DS, or put your Vita in sleep, and then you can just always pick it up and drop it whenever you want. So it's actually like doesn't feel like a commitment to sit down and play these things. Like when I play Persona, I gotta make sure I have like 2 hours easy, because like I want to do a palace in one shot. You know, I got all these cutscenes coming up because we're preparing for the next palace, or like this palace just ended, or whatever. You know, there's like I like to sit down and make sure I have a lot of time confirmed for it, because you don't know when the next thing you can save is. But if you're playing a handheld, you just, boop, all right, I'm going to go do this other thing now. Or you can take it with you when you go places, so it's way easier. So it might be, like, I might just play the 3DS version of 8, because it's like, I've done this for so long, why would I not? But, like, I do own 8 already, so why buy it again? But it's the only one I own at the moment. I accidentally bought that one, like, on its, like, opening day back in 2008 or something, because I just remember looking at the box. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I went up, the girl at the counter was like, oh, cool, Dragon Quest, right? And then she like started pointing at the slime pin she had, and I was like, right, but I had no idea what the fuck she was talking about, because I'd never heard of Dragon Quest until then. I just liked the artwork, because I was like, oh, it's kind of looks like Dragon Ball, not really understanding that it was the guy who did Dragon Ball, but whatever. So yeah, I kind of bought that, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, but like, it was just, actually, that version was broken. The first one I bought, it froze up when you walked into the first cave. And I had to return it and get another copy. So I was like, hey, I don't know what this is or why this is doing this. And so I got a new version of it. But that was fun having that game. So I'll definitely be playing all of them, because the 9 is also on the DS. So that's kind of also why it's like, well, I've been playing literally all of these handheld. And 10, I just learned, is like impossible to play if you're a North American, because you need a Japanese VPN, although that may have been removed. I don't know. Still not sure on that one. Maybe, but that's not hard to fix. But the thing that is hard to fix, Japanese credit card. Fuck me. So, because it's MMO, so you gotta pay to play or whatever like that. And like, even if apparently there's like a single player offline mode that you might be able to get away with, but I don't know. But that one's seemingly more and more difficult to play. And then 11 just came out in Japan, and it's fucking doing gangbusters over there. I read somewhere like 3 to 4 million copies sold already between the two systems, 3DS and PS4, and the 3DS version sold more than the PS4 version, because I think everyone's just so used to Dragon Quest being on the go now. It's an on the go series as opposed to you sit at your, on your couch and you play on a big TV. I would prefer it on the big TV, so I'm gonna probably play on the PS4. I don't even know if we're getting the 3DS localization. They might skip that one, just go for the Switch localization that's coming out later, and then we'll just get on that, which I don't own a Switch, so I'll have to get that one anyway. But it's really pretty on the PS4, and I'd rather play it on that anyway. And they actually do cute things on the 3DS version where you can have it be like the 2D sprites that like the phone versions are, or you can have kind of like a more like the 3DS versions of 7 and 8 where it's like a 3D model. So I thought that was really cute. So like, but I'll probably play the PS4 version. And no voice acting in like any Dragon Quest ever, even the MMO. Like 11 has none. The MMO has none. I watched a couple cutscenes of the 10 in Japanese today. Yeah, they're all fucking dialogue boxes. Dragon Quest never has had voice acting until like the version of 8 that came out for the PS2 in North America. They put voice acting in the localization, but the Japanese version has never had voice, and they never had it. Maybe in like they might have an international version that they released, but like that didn't have voice acting either. So I thought that was really weird. So like they just never do. Like it's really odd. But yeah, so I'll play all of them because they are kind of cool, and I do remember enjoying 8 a lot. I just never finished it. Because I was a weak baby when I played that game for the first time, but now I'm a big, strong JRPG player, so I'm down to finish them all. I just want to get through the ones that are really annoying, and I miss tactile buttons like a lot, and the phone doesn't have that. You just kind of like they what do they call them? Basically emulate a controller, and it's kind of annoying. So I kind of miss it a lot. So when I get to 5, it's going to be a breath of fresh air to have a controller again. Even though it's on a DS, I just want that tactile button. I like pushing the button in. I like knowing what button I'm pushing, because I'm pushing the button down, as opposed to sometimes like walking like backwards or down because I'm trying to fucking push the fake joystick, and my finger's not where it needs to be, or sometimes I accidentally talk someone because the joystick set the center of the joystick, the D-pad. So the center of the D-pad is your action button, and then you still move that shit around with your thumb. I just don't like it as much. It just doesn't feel as right, not playing like a real button. So I'm gonna look forward to playing 5 onward on consoles with buttons. I miss buttons. This is kind of why I never jumped into mobile gaming when I first got a phone, because the initial mobile games, like when I first bought my phone, I noticed that like GTA 3 was on iOS. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. That's so crazy. A PS2 is in my hand as opposed to attached to my TV. That's so crazy how strong this is. And I was like, why would I ever want to play that? It sounds really annoying, like not having buttons. And now I'm doing it. I'm playing games like that are not mobile games. They're not designed for the phone. Like the Kingdom Hearts phone game is all swishing and, like using your finger. It's designed for a finger and all that kind of stuff. Flappy Bird or whatever. Those are like the only 2 phone games I ever played. They're really annoying, and or not annoying, but like they're designed for it. So I was like, oh, whatever. Now that I'm playing this, it's a better version than I could have like hoped, and it's not too complicated, which is fine. Like GTA 3 seems way too complicated for a phone, but like this is simple. You only really need one button and a D-pad. Not the end of the world, but it's kind of a pain in the dick. So what are you gonna do? But it's the best way to play these games, and I actually I'd rather play these games with a more official translation to what the later games are going to have. Same spell names, similar visuals, that kind of shit, because the Dragon Warrior games are a little bit different. So I'm glad this is the version I get to play, because everything kind of looks closer to the Toriyama artwork. It's got same things. Things are named correctly. Things aren't censored in the way they would have been back in the 80s when they came out originally. So it's nice. It's nice to have everything the same. It's just these games are super old and they kind of feel it. One was so short that it wasn't super noticeable, but like so many times I got stuck, not because of difficulty, but because I got lost and I couldn't figure where I was trying to go in 2. So I'm hoping kinks start getting worked out, because like Final Fantasy 2 is not a great game. So I'm thinking it might be this sophomoric thing in JRPGs where by the second one they kind of try some shit and they're like, okay, this is not really working. Like, so hopefully that's kind of what's happening. Back in the 80s, the second JRPG was always whack. So hopefully that's what that is, because people love 3, people love 4, and after that I don't really care, because I'll have a controller. It'll be a little bit less annoying to play. But I'm looking forward to just doing that whole thing. So Dragon Quest is cool, and I'm really looking forward to 11. Really, this is all because 11 looks dope as fuck, and I want to play 11 real bad. Because like that just looks so good. Oh man, super excited. Next year I think we're gonna get that release. But if Persona is any indication, that doesn't mean anything when they say, oh, it's coming out that at this point for localization. It's like, no, go fuck yourself. I mean, Persona's way bigger and has a lot of weird nuances with the way you gotta translate things, because it's in the modern day, so you gotta figure out like the one character is always saying sis when she talks to her sister, which is Oni-chan in Japanese, but we don't have a word for that, really. Like, we don't have a word for big sister or anything like that. Like, you wouldn't just say that. So, like, but that's in the script, so she's kind of got to say that. So it sounds weird. She's always talking about sis, but, like, that's not what she's... In Japanese, it would sound better because Oni-chan is a word and the thing people say in Japanese, and you probably heard it if you watch anime and stuff, but in English, it sounds really weird. So that has those problems, but Dragon Quest should have as many problems of them trying to, like, there's probably meetings of, like, do we include this when they were doing the localization? Like, this is, like, not a thing in English. Do we just have her say a thing that's kind of close, but is not a thing normal English speakers say? Like, it's weird. But then it's also super set in Japan, so you're kind of like, well, I mean, it makes sense. They would do this in Japan, so it's weird. It's a weird little middle ground, so I understand that localization taking way longer than a Dragon Quest one might take. So that one might actually come out in 2018. But, and also, it's not, Atlas has a lot more to do. There's a lot of writing, a lot of text, a lot of cutscenes. So I don't think Dragon Quest would have that big of a problem. I think Dragon Quest is more playing than it is, learning about these characters and their story. Because the story is so important, is more, the biggest part of Persona 5. Just Persona in general is the story. It's why they were putting a big ban on people trying to stream past a certain date and all that kind of shit, because they didn't want the story spoiled. They want people to experience it for themselves, all that kind of shit. So they were very concerned with all that, which makes sense. It is mostly that, although it is the best turn-based RPG ever made. But what are you gonna do? But so yeah, there's that. A lot of One Piece talk. A lot of fucking read Dr. Stone. Dragon Quest is kind of cool. It's fun. It's fun to learn about games and see where they came from. I always enjoy doing that. So good. I enjoy doing these long-form history lessons. Maybe I should actually do something with the information I collect, but whatever. And yeah, good times. Persona 5, good. Just fuck this Futaba trophy. Trophy can go fuck itself. Kind of Funny Games Daily. Shout out to that show. So yeah, with that, I guess I'll wrap this one up. It's been a quick, I have a lot of shit I like talking about. One Piece is the greatest thing to ever happen to mankind and myself, so I figured I kind of just need a place to talk about it. So this is why this show exists, damn it. That's why we're here. That's why this exists. Alright, enough of my weird fist-poundy passion. So that, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this shit up. This is fun. I just enjoy this. I enjoy sitting down and just rambling on for an hour. Because I do this shit all the time. It's good to put in front of a microphone, and people seem to kind of enjoy it. People seem to really enjoy the Mike episode, and I totally understand, because I feel like that one was fucking cash money. So, but he is aloof. He is a difficult man to pin down, so we'll see how often he actually gets in here. But I would love him to come back. It's good fun. I enjoy him. Or maybe you're all here for me and my antics. I don't know. But I noticed a huge uptick in people watching that one on the YouTube. So I can't figure out how to see if people download on iTunes. I don't know how to figure that out. So I haven't done it. And I really don't care too much about the numbers, because it's really just, this is for me. But I enjoy doing it. If other people enjoy it, that's fucking awesome. But yeah, I kind of just want to, because I feel like I don't know if I ever talked about this on the show, but I feel like the inspiration to do it should come from me first, and success later, and success being the numbers and seeing the numbers go up, that kind of thing. That makes sense? So kind of make sure I want to do it because I want to do it, not because I want that high number, and then hopefully the high numbers come in result of me wanting to do it. So that makes sense. So tell your friends, share it everywhere, whatever people do these days. I don't know. I don't do these things when people tell me to do them in podcasts, but maybe you're different. Maybe you're made of stronger stuff than I am. Maybe you'll actually do these things. But yeah, feel free. Tell people if you enjoy it. I don't know. I have fun doing it, so I keep saying that. So as a way to convince myself. But no, I actually do enjoy it. So yeah, but that's my mentality. So that should come from in here before it's out there. So because I don't want it'd be great if this was a job I had, but at the same time it's that's not the point. The point is I need a place to talk about shit, and I like having people come in to talk about shit because I feel like I have fun talking to people, and I feel like other people would have fun listening to them, and I think that's pretty cool. And it's not, the equipment I have was kind of the hardest part to figure all that shit out, and the editing and uploading. Tags. I hate tags on YouTube and SoundCloud. I hate them. I know they're super important and they're really necessary, but they're so complicated. Not complicated, they're just clunky. The way you put them in is weird and clunky. I don't like it. And I don't know how many you're supposed to have. Because you see these other videos of people who do spam channels and they have 30 in there. It's I don't want that, but I also don't want to miss anything. It's really complicated. Tags are really complicated. I think they would be so annoying. So you gotta have to go through. I literally have to listen through one more time just to make sure I write down all the things that were mentioned and all this shit, so that I can have timestamps. But also it's for the tags and all that stuff. So if things get mentioned, they show up. But I don't want to show up something if it came up in a sentence. If someone's oh, this one thing. Now back to what we were talking about. I don't want to have it's weird. I don't really know what's acceptable. I don't know. Maybe I'll coddle this. Probably not. I think the rawness of the whole thing is the fun for everyone. It's fun for me. I enjoy when podcasts do this kind of stuff, and they kind of just talk about the production part of stuff. But I just like production in general. I always find how a movie's made or TV show is made really fascinating. That's why I like Power Rangers so much. So I'm just how the fuck is this happening? This is so weird. The episode I just watched in the middle of the wedding arc, if that means anything to anyone, when Rita and Zed get married. That means something to everyone that listened, because I defined it like a good host. But they have a canon reason for the Rita actress to change, which I thought was so weird. It's most shows, it happens more in animation or a voice actor or something like that, but they'll just not mention a change. But Power Rangers, nah, she looks just kind of different. She doesn't even if I didn't think about it. I mean, most of the time it's not actually watching, I just kind of put it on the background. But I wouldn't really notice. It's still a woman being dubbed over because the voice is still different. It's just a different actor. And it's just oh, no, they just gave a reason for the actress to look different. I wouldn't have mind. It's a kid show, too. It's it's just a kid show. No one's going to care. As a kid, I didn't even notice because I just put the show on and then did little punches in the air because I was fucking yeah, I'm Power Ranger. That's how I used to watch that show. That's what kids do when they watch the show. They don't really care. So, like, I'm surprised they gave like a canon reason for Rita to look different. I thought that was cute. Yeah, so, I mean, they do, but, like, I like that kind of stuff. I like learning about the production of, like, things and, like, why is this so weird? Why did you not just dub over the show, but instead remake it? Why did you do that? It's so weird. So, like, I like Power Rangers for that reason. And I like other things for production reasons. So, all right, I've really rambled on about absolutely nonsense for the last, 20 minutes, but the one listener has said it's not an official Brain on Tom episode unless I fucking have at least one false ending. So, I guess this will be the real ending now. I'm going to keep using Persona music because, I don't know, I enjoy it. I have the file saved on my computer. I don't want to look for more music, and I kind of like that song a lot. And no one's telling me to stop. Come at me, Atlas, but please don't. I just love your products. I don't make money on this, so please don't hurt me. Yeah, so with that, we're actually going to end right now. No more talking. Okay, so with that, love and kisses.